This week on Blush, I'm joined by author Noël Stark for a conversation that goes everywhere. We dive into the world of audiobooks, writing romance, and what really happens behind the scenes in entertainment. Along the way, we're talking hockey, dating disasters, women in media, spicy scenes, and the importance of staying true to yourself. It's funny, honest, a little chaotic, and exactly the kind of conversation we love around here. This episode has been brought to you by Heathens and Heartbreakers, coming to Dallas, Texas in June of 2027. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody. We are here with Noël Stark. Her debut novel is Love, Camera, Action. Noël has worked in almost every position in the film and TV industry, both in front of and behind the camera. Although she's Canadian, she lives in LA with her young son, desperately missing winter. She likes chocolate milk in her coffee and gets most of her real-world intel from her 3 stepkids. I love it. Chocolate milk and coffee.
That is probably the most controversial thing that I've ever said or printed.
It makes sense.
It's so good. You should try it. It's
Like,
amazing.
it's like a mocha.
It's like a mocha, and the poor person's version is you put in hot chocolate mix into your coffee.
Yeah.
Also works. But yeah, I love chocolate milk in my coffee, or I drink it black.
I have to have cream and sugar in mine, and I like the flavored cream, and sometimes, like, at Christmas time, I put eggnog in instead of cream.
Oh, that sounds like a
Mhm.
good idea. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We gotta do our beverages. So, I don't have wine today. It's just super hot. It's like 86 here. In Michigan, it's always, like, 99% humidity.
Right.
So I didn't wanna drink wine, cut water.
Oh, that looks so
I
good.
know, they have all kinds of different flavors, and I got the lemon drop because I like lemon drop martinis. So
Mm,
it's cut water vodka, I guess, triple sec, lemon juice, and natural flavors. So a friend of mine says these are amazing, but I've
okay.
never had it before.
What's the percentage?
It tastes just like a lemon drop. It's really good. Mm. Oh, wait, I need to read my can. Hold on. A zesty libation, real vodka. Featuring our award-winning vodka and notes of bright lemon. Enjoy in a chilled martini glass with a lemon twist or straight from our can. It's got 2 shots worth of Cutwater vodka, triple sec, lemon juice, natural flavors. It does taste like I should have put it
Yeah.
in a martini glass to look fancy, but I was
Yeah.
worried I would spill it on my technology.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, the thing about martinis, if they're not cold after a while, it's not good.
I 7%. So
Okay.
it's not
Okay.
like crazy. This is a really good like poolside summer drink.
Yeah, yeah. So I used to be a big drinker, but one day my body just said, "No, you're not. It didn't want me to drink it anymore. Anymore." And it was like the saddest thing. Like when I like 5 o'clock would roll around and I'd be like, "Oh, time for a glass of wine." And then I'd be like, "No, I can't have it," because it made me
So
sick. It
bad.
gave me these intense hangovers. I would try like half of a glass of champagne, still. Spritzers, still like
Like no
nothing,
matter what.
nothing. And I very sadly miss martinis because I used to love a good martini.
Me
But
too.
I wanted to like be in the flavor of what we were doing. And so I went out and got some non-alcoholic wine. I've never had this
Oh,
before.
why? I've never had the Ooh, it's really pretty.
Pretty. I bought it because it was pretty. It's called
Yeah.
Ariel. It's 2023, a good year. It's a Cab Sauv and it's premium alcohol removed wine. And savor the magic, it says, of Ariel Vineyards Cabernet Sauvignon, inspired by Shakespeare's ethereal spirit. Damn.
Ooh.
Ariel. I don't know that character. Do you know that character? Ariel?
Yeah. Is she
Is
in
it
The Tempest? I think she
This oak-aged, alcohol-removed wine enchants with lush aromas of black currants, cherries, and blueberries, interwoven with notes of chocolate. Soft tannins and a dry finish echo Ariel's elusive, poetic nature. Damn. That's pretty good for a boozeless wine. Let me
Yep, she is from The Tempest. Is a spirit who appears in The Tempest. She's bound to serve the magician Prospero, who rescued him from the tree when he was imprisoned by Sycorax, the witch who previously inhabited the island. That's right. Okay. I
Okay.
wonder if that's part of why Little Mermaid is named Ariel.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like a Danish fairy tale.
Yeah, but I don't know if her name was Ariel in the original, was it?
Oh, Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't
I
Ariel. Maybe she didn't have a name
didn't
in
think
the
she had a name. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good point.
Hmm.
Man, that's a rabbit hole. But it's
Yeah.
okay. It sort of tastes like wine. It's mostly like wine flavored juice. It's the consistency of wine, but it tastes like juice. It's a little grape juicy, which is good. It's fine.
It's all
I
right.
mean,
It's fun to be, hey,
it's fun to pretend.
yeah,
Yeah.
spirit. I love it. Okay.
Mhm.
So we did our drink. So now we can talk about book stuff. Okay.
Okay. Books.
So you worked in all kinds of film and TV, which I was actually a film major in college. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So how did you get into film and TV?
So after I got back from university, I
Mhm.
I'm Canadian. I'm from a small town in Ontario, but I lived in Toronto for a long time. And Toronto has a very big film industry in terms of shooting a lot of American shows.
Yeah. Mm.
And so I was a PA and a production secretary as kind of my job because I didn't know quite what to do for like movie of the weeks. If I don't know if you know that was a thing at the time with people like Linda Carter, you know, and I did that. And then I got the acting bug and I went to New York to study acting. And then I came back to Toronto and was acting. And somebody told me that I should make a film and put myself in it as a kind of a business card. And
Oh,
for whatever reason, I thought that was really boring. The idea of making a film was really interesting, but putting me in it, I was like not down. But I did make a short film, and it went to Sundance, and it went to TIFF, and it went
wow.
all these. It totally exploded, and I literally didn't know what to do. I was like the deer in right? But then I started working reality TV because at that time reality TV was just coming up and that was a way to make money and I I made a few more films and I was part of the film circuit for a bit and then I shadowed on some scripted TV and I wrote some scripted TV, but it was mostly like getting any kind of job I could because the Canadian industry isn't huge in terms of making stuff. And so mainly my background is in all kinds of reality TV. But my main reality TV is paranormal, so ghost shows,
Mm-hmm.
renovation shows. Everybody loves a renovation,
Mm-hmm.
and true crime. So I did all those, but I wrote for kids shows. I was still acting. I did voice work. So I've done a lot. I've been in all the positions pretty
Yeah,
much. Mm.
that's really cool. This is sort of a tangent like I do all the time. Since you've done voice work before, would you ever think of narrating your own books?
Yeah, I would for sure narrate my own books. Yeah. I'm hoping to publish some things independently. I think when you go through a publisher, they kind of have their own people that they want to do. So you can't really do it unless you're a big name. But yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Mhm.
So, how did you get from TV to deciding to write a book?
Well, when you're making your own films, it's hard because you have to convince a ton of people to go along with your project. You can't make
Mhm.
a film on your own. Like you can, but it's really difficult and it's like a very specific type of film. But you need
Right.
to convince people to give you money. You need to convince people to give you their time. You need to convince people to give you their labor. And as a result, everybody's got a voice. Everybody's got their finger in the pie and they want it to be the way they want it to be. And it just is really exhausting trying to make something in film or TV. Like it's a huge process. And I was
Mhm.
so tired of just jumping through all those hoops that I just wanted to have control completely over a story that I could make. And so I thought I would write a novel. I was going through this huge romance reading phase, like one of those, this is very common, but reading a book every other day, like
Mhm.
300 books a year. I was reading all the genres and I just kind of got this idea of like, oh, I could write one of these. And it was super naive. And it was way harder than I thought, but I stuck it through and I wrote it and I was lucky enough to get it published.
Yeah.
And so that was why, just sort of like I was sick of depending on so many other people.
Yeah. I like it that you're just like, so I'm just gonna do it. Working on TV or film, it's like too many cooks, kind of, because everybody has their own idea
Mm.
of what it would be.
Yeah, and it's a huge amount of money. I'm working on a show right now, and it's like every step has got to have like 15 people weigh in on all the different things.
Mm,
And it's fun and it's collaborative and it's neat, but it's like if you have your own vision, it's really hard to push it through.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
your singular vision. Mhm.
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 So, for anybody who doesn't know about your book, Love, Camera, Action, can you give a synopsis?
Yeah, it's about a woman director. She's Canadian, and she's been flown into a show that's, like, got a lot of buzz, and she's kind of a newbie in those terms. Like, being a newbie in film is different because you still have to kinda show that you've had some experience, but she's been flown in because the male director that was in her slot said some really unfortunate things about the Me Too movement, and he got fired, and so they needed a woman as a PR stunt to kind of smooth everything over. And in TV, directors are brought in to do 1 or 2 episodes in a season. So she's just been brought in to do 1 or 2 episodes. Now the director of photography, however, who is the head camera person, goes through the whole thing. And when she gets there, she meets the director of photography, and he's one of her idols. She's been following his career, and he's like a grumpy dank. And they are totally attracted to each other, but it is very much like he's annoyed that he's gotta deal with a new director. She has to deal with his grumpiness, and it's a bit of a grumpy sunshine, rivals to lovers situation, and they eventually find out that when they're getting along, the work is really, really great, but when they're not getting along, it just affects the whole crew, and so you kind of feel like when you're on a crew, if there's any kind of toxic environment, it ripples through the whole thing and it
Yeah,
becomes a nightmare. You were a film major in school. Did you do any films? Did you make any films?
I did. It was kinda cool because we did actual film
Mhm,
camera, and I had
mhm.
to get it developed, and then I had to splice and tape it together and all that stuff
You
for ed
edited?
yeah, I did the editing too. It was crazy.
Wow, old
Yeah.
school. That's
Yeah, it
cool.
was super old school. So, yeah, I mean, my crew was like my friends that I was
Yeah.
just like, "Help me do this." But, yeah, it's intense. Yeah.
It's intense. So you can
Mm,
see how it can go wrong really easily. And you hear
yeah.
about like people being divas, you hear about people being in toxic environments all the time because it is really intense. You're on set for 12, 13, 14 hours a day. You
Mhm.
literally don't do anything else except this. You're in this like tiny box of a studio with these people that you hope become your family, but also, sometimes like, having your family around is not great.
Right. Yep,
I know.
exactly.
So it's a
Mhm.
very intense experience. And I hadn't read many romances that took place on set. I'd
Yeah.
I'd read Hollywood romances, like, with actors or with writers or, sometimes directors, but never on set, and so because it's just such a hotbed and I for sure have had crushes on my directors of photography,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure,
And
for sure.
especially because 'cause you're with them all the time. So,
Yeah,
like yeah.
yeah, and they're usually really interesting and smart and hot because it's like a physical
Right.
job.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So it's
Like
easy to have relationships.
mhm.
But these days, everybody's fighting against it because they don't wanna be sucked into the HR problems of
Mhm.
having a relationship on set. So,
Mhm.
there's that tension as well.
Segueing into that, so the entertainment business relationships in the time of Me Too, can you expand on maybe some of your own experiences were or how you feel it's being handled?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because when I started, I was propositioned by tons of people on set and I knew I was not the only one. Like I had people that were above me that tried to maneuver me into situations or were in difficult situations. And then there were other times where there was just you were messing around with people on set just because the
Mhm.
feelings were running high. But you kind of accepted that that's the way it was.
Yeah.
And it was funny because until the Me Too movement, I didn't notice certain things. But when younger women came onto the set and they started pointing out stuff that was happening, I was like, oh, I wouldn't have even clocked that
Yeah.
because I'm so used to like a certain culture on set and they were way more attuned to it. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, I've got to learn to be more aware than that. So I think what's happened now is, and like I said, I just started a show. I had to do a whole course on sexual harassment as part of working for HGTV. And that's maybe the second time I've had to do it. And so there's something about the industry that you're really not, nobody's having on-set relationships anymore because they're worried, and
Mhm.
I think that's fair. But yeah, the environment has changed a lot.
Do you think it's changed for the better? Do you think people's behaviors or attitudes towards what's okay and what's not has gotten better? Or do you think people are just like, I'm just not gonna do anything because 'cause I'm scared? Like, have they actually learned anything?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think I'm scared, which I think is maybe a good place to start from.
Yeah.
Like my book opens. The reason why this woman, Callie, has been brought on is because she's really good at sex scenes, right? Like she's good at directing sex scenes. And she comes on, and the other reason is because this episode that she's directing has like a seminal, not to make a pun, but a seminal sex scene um, for the series. And so she's been brought on.
It's amazing.
And she comes on to do a sex scene, and there's no intimacy coordinator. Now, intimacy coordinators have been kind of de rigueur for a while. And when the book came out, I thought, oh my gosh, maybe this is behind the times now because intimacy coordinators are like all around. But
Mhm.
then that whole scandal with This Is Us blew
Yeah.
up where there was no intimacy coordinator on set. And Nora winning the Oscar, there was no intimacy coordinator on set. And she came out like Mickey, whatever her last name is, came out and said, I didn't want an intimacy coordinator. And I'm like, why? But
Why
okay,
would you not? Yeah.
why wouldn't you want that level of protection? But even if you didn't, that's fine. That is your prerogative. But what about all those other women that were all the strippers in the show? Like maybe they
Everyone else.
wanted one, but
Mhm.
didn't feel like they could ask for it.
Hmm.
And then you hear, heated rivalry. Like I have friends who worked on heated rivalry. They were very clear that they had an intimacy coordinator. And I was like, is that because it's about guys?
Probably.
Well,
Because there's always, the deference is always to the guys.
yeah, like don't worry. There's the protection for the guys to make sure that nothing is going
Mhm.
wrong with the guys. But, you know, and I have like, again, tremendous respect. I'm like, good that they had an intimacy coordinator. That's
Right,
awesome.
right.
But I do think it's interesting that a point was made on
Mhm.
that when women are just supposed to roll with it, right? We're just
Yeah,
supposed to roll
exactly.
with it.
Like, "Oh, that's just how it is, so
Yeah.
okay," and if you speak up, then there's something wrong with you or you're, like, a crazy bitch or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. And when I was acting, I was in an indie film and I had to do this sex scene and I rolled up and I was all of a sudden, I was just not okay with it. Like I had signed on to it. I read the script. I signed the contracts. But when I rolled up, I was like, this is gross. There's something weird about this. I don't like it. And
Mhm.
I said, like, I'm not going to do it unless this changes. And I actually got the guy to get naked because I was naked, but the guy wasn't. So I got the
Of
guy to be
course.
naked.
Good, good.
Of
Of
course,
course, it's always just, like, dudes fully clothed and you're totally
totally
naked.
right out there. So I managed to get that he was naked too. But that's a kind of a dangerous position to put yourself in as an actor. So then there's a lot of talk about the politics in the book about what that intimacy coordinator and what it means for women to be in the industry.
Mhm. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Really like that, and you're saying, like, it's kinda scary to put yourself out there because if you are saying something that's like, let's say these extras in Anora, right? If they were like,
Mhm.
"No, I need an intimacy coordinator," then someone would be like, "Well, we're not having one, and if you are making us a fuss about it, then you're not gonna work ever again."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's hard to make money as an actor. It's really
Yeah.
hard. And if you got this choice gig, on this, like, I mean, Anora was an independent film, so there wasn't a
Yeah.
ton of. And again, I'm speaking out of school. I don't know where the politics were on this. I'm just like
Right.
regurgitating what I'm hearing. But it's harder for women to speak up. It's harder for women. So, like in the book too, Callie knows that there's certain things that happen to her that don't happen to the other guys. Showrunner and the DP talk about a scene without her, and she's like, "That's a huge breach of protocol." And she
Mhm.
calls them on it in this kind of sneaky way without calling them on it, and the romantic lead, Jory, understands that this is bad, and he
Right.
blushes. He apologizes later, but the showrunner doesn't. The showrunner's like,
Who
"Whatever.
cares?
Who
Yeah.
cares?" Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I know, and it's something to talk about because I think even still, like, women know that sexism is going on, but they're not allowed to flag it, or they're gonna look like a bitch, or they're gonna, like,
Right.
like, cause waves. I think it's good for women to talk about it because then they feel like they're not crazy, you
Yeah,
know?
I think
Mhm,
so too, and I think with a lot of women's issues, like women's health, any types like the pay gap or any sort of disparity, I feel like it's good to talk about it because once you
mhm,
do, there's like 5 times as many more women who are like, "Oh my god, I thought I was the only one." And you're
mhm,
like, "It's we're told not to talk about it and
mhm,
just
mhm.
shut up and deal with it."
Yeah. No,
Nobody
totally.
else is saying it's okay, then you're or if you're like, "I feel like this isn't right," but then you're like, "Everyone else seems to think it's fine, so there's something wrong with me, obviously," but really, everyone's
Yeah.
just told to be quiet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly, exactly.
I was gonna ask if you had
Mhm.
any other books before this one. So that
No,
was straight up your first book.
that's my first book, yeah, which I have found out is pretty rare, which is nice.
Yeah. So, spicy scenes, since you have experience acting out
Mhm.
spicy scenes, did you find it easier or more difficult to write things like that?
I think I was it was easy for me to write the onset spicy scenes because onset spicy scenes are really choreographed. They're really
Mhm.
sexless in a way because you
Yeah.
have to, angle your body in a certain way and you have to make sure that your face is angled and you have to, be moving bit parts like it's kind of like a dance. So it's not necessarily you're not like really engaged
Mhm.
in that.
Very
So
technical.
yeah, it's very technical, so it was easy for me to understand that space. But spicy scenes, no like, no, I had read a bunch of spicy scenes, and I knew the kind of spicy scenes that I liked,
Mhm.
and generally, I've read, like, from the most vanilla to I imagine the most, like, BDSM, like, in various different kinks, like, I'm sure there's something that I haven't read, but I've read pretty wide. And the type of book I do, like, I mean, you could kind of say that there's, like, a little, like, power stuff going on,
Yeah.
but it's mainly kind of vanilla. But I would like long sex scenes. I like to know exactly what's going on. I
Yeah.
want to know what is going through their head. I want to know
Mhm.
when they're checking out and when they're checking in and the tricks that they get each other to do. So
Yeah.
my scenes generally take up 1 or 2 chapters, like my
Yeah.
spicy scenes. Um,
That's the way to do it.
I like that because it really engages you and it gives you room to be kind of human about it. Like in real life, sometimes when you're having sexy times, it kind of falls apart. Like you start
Yeah.
laughing because something happens, or
Mhm.
you just like kind of get bored with something that's going on, or
Yeah.
you're thinking about something. And so if you have a long sex scene, you can kind of play with that, and then it becomes a character
Yeah.
situation. So in the main spicy scene, the director kind of gives over power to the director of
Mhm.
photography because she's had a shit time. She doesn't want to make any decisions. She wants him to make all the decisions. It's clear that they're going to do it, but she's
Mhm.
like, "I'm so tired. Can you drive?"
Yep. Mhm.
But because she's a director, it's really hard for her to give up that. So even
Yep.
though she's given power over to him, she, like, is always, like, trying to get it back, and he's like, and he's trying to snatch it back from her all the time and so it's fun because that's a character situation, and it reflects
Yeah.
their relationship on set.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's what I like spicy scenes for that.
Yeah. I really like that too. I feel like romance, spicy books, whatever, they get kind of a bad reputation because they're like, it's just porn for ladies, which also, who cares? Like,
Cares. Yeah, fine.
it's fine
Right.
for dudes to watch porn, but not for ladies. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also feel like people don't think that there's any depth to the books,
Yeah.
and there's so much in there, and I think it's true. And I'm like, "What? People don't have sex in real life? Of course they do. Why would you not put
Mhm.
that in your book?" And
Yeah.
I do like when you can do a lot of character development during those scenes because, I mean, as a person, like, I find things out about myself during spicy times, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm very similar to her. I'm always, like, in control, in charge, whatever, and so I prefer to be more submissive in the bedroom
Mhm.
because but I don't wanna do a full, like, dom sub relationship because I don't want it outside of the bedroom, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I'm like, in the bedroom, yeah. But sometimes, especially with, like, my ex, I was like, you're not doing it right."
I know, I know, and that's the thing is that, like, in a spicy book, they can do it right. You can show them how to do it right. You don't have to have any of those issues.
Oh.
It's funny, I had a similar thing with my ex, is like, I was trying to introduce that into our bedroom, and he couldn't get it, and then he backed off, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
And, like, I don't mind switching, right? Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm gonna be clear. I don't have a lot of real world experience in stuff that goes on in my head. This is what I imagine, but I don't have a problem as long as it's clear that this is what's going on, if it's
Yeah.
mapped out. And I think that's, when you get into contracts and,
Yeah. Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
things or whatever.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Make sure you have your safe word and all that good stuff.
Yeah, this is fun. I like that you encouraged to bring a drink on because it makes me feel like I'm drinking wine.
Yeah, there
You
you go.
feel
Okay, so when you do your sex scenes, do you have to map it out, like draw stick figures or play with Barbies or whatever to figure out where people are, where their appendages are?
Um, no, I just sort of imagine it. I mean, I did write this scene in a book that I just submitted for publishers, and it took place in a car.
Mm,
And cars are hard, right? Because there's not a lot of space and there's stuff in the way. So then I was really thinking about what it would mean to have it in the passenger seat and how she would have to be on top and how he would be. And like it's a bit of a rom-com, so the seat breaks. And like, I
mm,
had to figure out all that and where the like sometimes the seatbelt gets in the way. But they're
which, I
really
mean, that happens in the car for sure.
yeah,
Mhm.
and so it's like it's the environment really takes place, like, in Love, Camera, Action, there's finger banging and all that kind of stuff in a
Yep.
washroom set, and so then it's about the hard countertops in just any kind of bathroom, like, you have that, but then
Yeah.
the ceiling is open and it's on a set, so there's people walking around.
Yeah.
Right? So then you have to kind of think about your environment, both
Mhm.
style wise and sound wise and how that affects. So like he's always telling her like, shh, like don't kind of in that domineering kind of situation, but making her be quiet because there's people. So you just get really tactile.
Yeah.
I've read a bunch of dark romances and I find that dark romances sometimes weirdly give the sex short shrift. Like they just are
Yes, I
really
think so too.
sex. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Wait, I'm not reading this book for its literary merits. I'm reading it to see what kind of crazy sex shenanigans you're gonna get up to, and I am not pleased by this."
Or, like, I've noticed in some, by the time they get to the 3rd or 4th one, it's short, and I'm like, "Hey, I still wanna know everything that's going on in
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Come on."
Okay, so back to the book. It's an old boys network that doesn't change. So
Yeah.
the thing that I was trying to do in the book is that Jory is kind of a dink. Like it's not that he's sexist, because he's not, but he finds that he's in the culture of sexism and he doesn't notice it until Callie
Yeah.
comes on. And one of the things I wanted to do with his characters was that he slowly realizes that he's part of the problem even though he's not overtly doing anything.
Right.
He's part of it because he's in the culture.
And you're being complacent and not saying, "Hey, this isn't okay." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Mm,
So that's something because I have a lot of I have a son, I have stepsons, like
mm,
the new way that men should be is important to me, like because
mhm.
not just for women's sake, but for their sake.
Yeah.
And so that's an interesting thing that I like to at least explore a little bit in my
Yeah.
romance novels because we all
Yeah.
want guys who are good guys. We want that,
Yeah.
right?
I know, and that's what people say, like, instead of dudes who think badly about romance novels or whatever,
Mm,
just read it a little bit, and
yeah.
then you'll know what women are looking for. Just act like these guys. Don't be a dick. It's
Don't be
not
a dick.
hard.
The guys that have read my book, I was really surprised at this. They were
Yeah.
all so surprised at how much they liked the genre. And
Yeah.
they started at saying, "Oh, this isn't really for me." And then they all told me. They were like, "Oh, this
Yep.
isn't what I expected at all."
I know. I think a lot of the guys I know who have read the genre, they're like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah." I think it's a knee-jerk reaction to be like, "This is something women are into, so therefore it's stupid and below me," or whatever,
Yeah,
whether
yeah.
they consciously realize that's what they're doing or not. I
Mhm,
think that's
mhm.
kind of what happens
Yeah.
because there could be 5 women telling a guy to read a book, and they're if it's a romance book.
Mhm.
One guy says, "Oh, yeah, you should give it a go," then they're gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, even women were ashamed to read romance books up until just
Yeah.
recently. Like,
Mhm.
they had books that you could put on the outside of romance.
Yeah. Mhm. Or the discreet covers. Yeah, because it was like, "Oh, no, don't read that," and so I like that it's all just kinda getting better. Still a long ways to go, but it's getting better. So when you are like, "I'm gonna write," do you have a writing cave? Do you have snacks you like to eat or
Um,
music or what's your
I
setup like?
I'm a single mother, so I write whenever I can. When I
Mhm.
was writing this book, I was writing it in front of my son's taekwondo class. I was writing it, like at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was writing it on the bus to work. So now he's a little older. Basically, all I do is try to find a time of day to write. And I light a little candle and I light a little Palo Santo and I do a little spritz and that's it. Because I don't have the
Like it.
time, like I wish it could have a cave. I wish it could have dedicated time, but it's just not.
Mhm.
It's not.
What would you say to somebody who's thinking of writing their first book? What
Oof.
kind of advice would you give them?
Find a time that you will write every day and always do it, even if it's only for 10 minutes. Always do it and do it and set yourself a deadline for your first draft and hold yourself to that deadline. I actually am part of this accountability group and I need accountability because I need to know, okay, if I write 2,000 words today, I need to do it for someone else. I can't just do it for me or it'll never get done.
Mhm.
So, it's like you need to set up a deadline that you'll stick to. You need to write every single day, and you need to not be scared about how terrible it is, because it's so terrible. It's really terrible. Like, I'm on my 4th book, and I look at it, and I'm like, "Wow, this is garbage." And it just has to be garbage. It has to be garbage until it's not as garbagey and it becomes less and less garbagey as you go along. So
Yeah.
just don't be afraid of that.
I
Sure.
like that deadline idea because I feel like if you I mean, I don't write, so I don't know, I'm making things up.
Mm,
But if you're like, "I have to write 2,000 words a day," sometimes it's just not hitting
possible.
you.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't have that goal in mind, then you don't have anything to, like, motivate you.
There are so many things that get in the way of your writing, and life happens all the time, and it just knocks you off your game. And
Yeah.
it takes you so long to get back and doing it, but you have to treat it like a job. Like, you have to treat it like, "I'll get fired from my job if I don't do this." And make sure other people treat it with respect too, because usually people see you writing and they interrupt you, and they're like, "Oh, hey, well, you're not really doing anything." And you're like,
Mhm.
"No, I'm writing." So,
Mhm.
people have to respect it too.
Okay. We talked about real things for a good amount. We can do a game, right? Drink if you have got freaky outdoors. Yes. This is truth or drink. So if you don't wanna answer it, you have to drink.
I have to drink.
What are your top 3 turn-ons?
Dirty talk, for sure. I really love, like, penetration. I love it. I know that's like, I don't know if you would call that a turn on, but I just love it. And a third, you answer a couple and I'll think of a third.
Okay. So I have a lot of turn-ons. Sounds bad.
Mhm,
Top top 3. I'll say tattoos. I love the tattoos,
mhm,
and dirty talk is good too. But I think I'm like a primal
mhm.
person, so I really like smells or growling. Like
Mm,
I'm gonna combine it together.
yeah,
Primal stuff.
yeah, the sounds are really good. Like, any kind of sound communication is good. So
Mhm.
growl, gasps, moans, like any kind of anything like that.
Smells too. Like if you
Mhm.
have the right smell, I will be like attached to you.
But smells are hard, they're tricky because they can also be the worst.
Right.
Mhm.
But that it's a big primal thing. Like I mean, it's
Sure.
smell driven. So like if you smell right, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh. But if you don't smell right,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what would I do for a third one? Ooh. You
It's hard.
know, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to be not superficial.
No, you can be superficial.
So the thing is like you can look great, you can smell right, you can make the growls, but if you're like can't have a conversation or, don't treat me like an equal, then
Yeah. I have
oh
to say, like, if they're not funny, like, if they
yeah.
have no sense of humor, that's a big problem.
Okay, drink if you smash someone from Tinder, Hinge, or Bumble. That's me.
Um, I'm not there yet.
You can preemptively drink.
Okay. With hopes.
Yeah. Oh, drink if you've been ghosted. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not a question of me being ghosted, like that I'm some person that's never been ghosted. I think it's because I've ghosted them first. And then I realized, hold on, I think they also ghosted me.
Would you rather missionary or cowgirl?
Man, there's different situations. I don't know. This is hard. I never thought this would be hard.
That's what she said.
So, they're like, I don't know. Like, okay, so I like missionary because you don't have to do much. And it's still pretty great. Like, I know it's like vanilla and all that stuff, but there's a reason why it works. But like
Yeah.
Cowgirl's like kind of fun and like exciting and it's
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I think I
Do you have a preference?
if you have to pick one or the other, I would probably pick missionary too.
Mm,
But like I would rather do like a combination of the two. I mean, do one
what?
for a little bit and then switch.
I was
Not like at the same time. Like that's not
yeah,
possible.
I'm like, how
But also my hips and my knees are terrible. And
mm.
so after a while, I'm like, I can't sustain this, you
Yeah,
know?
it's hard. It is a good moniker of how fit you are. Like those kind of
Yeah.
positions really show you, oh, maybe I need to do more leg day.
But like, well, okay, so my joints are all messed up. I have a connective tissue disorder.
Oh.
And yeah. And so like I used to be a dancer. I grew up dancing.
So are there positions that you can't do because of that?
So it's weird because of this like hypermobility, I'm super flexible.
Mm.
And so I'm like, "Oh, you want me to bend that way? That's great." Except I will like maybe not stop bending that way and then like rip things or tear things,
Right.
tendons that aren't supposed to go that far. So I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that for a little bit." And then
Mm.
I'm like, "Now I hurt."
So this is what I love about romance, and this is what I love about romance lately, is that there's so many romances that talk about this stuff. Like there's books about I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it really hurts when there's any kind of penetration. Like there's some
Yeah.
lockdown of the
Um, yes,
vagina.
it's like there's a vaginismus
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
there's other stuff too, because I had all that stuff. I had terrible endometriosis, and we didn't know what it was for the longest time,
Right.
and
Yeah.
contributes to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and Talia do you know the author Talia Hibbert?
Yeah.
She's an
Yeah.
English writer, but she talks a lot about not just neurodiversity, but, pansexuality, like
Yeah.
demisexuality or, asexuality or KJ Charles, who's a historical mainly, but she talks about all sorts of like, she has romances between asexual people and
Oh, I
aromantic
love
people, and it's just so
yeah,
cool to see the diversity because so many women have so many issues.
yeah.
They wanna feel like they're not alone, but they don't wanna not be loved
Mhm.
either.
And that's another thing is like we were talking about before, like,
Mhm.
you think we're not supposed to talk about it, and then once you do, you're like, "Oh," and so, like, these
Yeah.
books are so great because you're like, "There's more people like me." Like,
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly.
Oh, this is a little bit different. What is your least favorite sex position?
You know, I don't it's not I don't mind it. The whole side thing, I'm not like totally high on. Like I don't
Oh, yeah?
it's okay. It's okay. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like clocking it in on that one.
Yeah, I feel like it feels good at first, but you always have to, like, stick that dick back
Yeah,
in
yeah,
because it
yeah.
falls out,
Yeah.
and then after a while, I'm like, "This isn't doing anything for me anymore."
Yeah.
Does it feel really good for the guys? Because they seem to like it.
They like, I don't yeah, and I'm not sure if they like maybe it's really tight, like, because of the
Maybe because you're
angle.
like, yeah,
Maybe that's why, but I also think they think it's really impressive,
they just think it's like, yeah,
like, it's cool. Like,
yeah.
some porn I've seen where, like, I can't imagine it would be that great, it just seems to be, like, choreography, where the girl is on her shoulders, like, the bed she's on the floor,
Yeah,
she's on the
yeah,
shoulder, and her back is against the bed, and her legs are over, and the guy's coming in from the top.
yeah.
I'm like, "I haven't done that, but that doesn't." I mean,
I
maybe. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, I mean, because 'cause I've done some, like, cause I would do that. I used to watch TV like that, be laying on my back and
Mm,
throw my legs over and have my, like, shins on the floor back. And then when I was like, "Oh, now we're adding sexy times to this."
mhm,
And also, that position wasn't difficult for me to get into because I used to just that was how I would sit, like, comfortably, like,
right.
so it wasn't like, "Oh, I'm already uncomfortable or straining to get into this position." It
Mm.
was just like, "Oh, yeah, here I am." And then
It so depends on your flexibility and your strength about some of these things. Like, I'm also very flexible, but it's because I have scoliosis.
Oh,
I'm, like, flexible in weird ways. So some
yeah,
things are, like, easy breezy for me, and other things
yeah.
I'm like, "No, we're
You're
not."
like, "Nope, it's I spent
But
way." My least favorite position,
yeah.
right? That's what I'm supposed to answer to. So, 69, I
Mm,
have a hard time with 69 because I am so focused on what I'm supposed to be doing that
mm.
I can't enjoy what he's
What he's
doing for
doing.
me.
So, see, I like 69 for that. Because it allows me to chill out a little bit and, like, because I have
Mhm.
something focused on, my mind can't spin out. So,
Oh,
it's actually better for me because I can like,
that's
I'm
interesting.
not I guess maybe I'm not so hung up about coming or something or, like, focused on
Yeah,
something.
because sometimes if you don't do it in, like, the time frame that you give yourself, then you get frustrated and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that.
yeah, so then it gives me
Yeah.
something to do. Yeah,
Yeah, but, like, yeah, I have the thing where I'm like, I don't even register the sensations that are
yeah,
happening because I'm
I get that.
so focused.
Mhm,
Yeah,
I get that.
mhm, yeah,
This is all very interesting. This is why I was
yeah,
so
I know.
excited to come on this podcast because when I watched the stuff, I was like, "Oh, this'll be good."
Yeah, 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 we have good stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, would you rather spit or swallow?
Like, I kinda spit. Like, there's something about, like, I have a really strong gag reflex, so I think that's what it is. But I've been thinking about this lately because my son introduces me to all this, like, Haktua stuff and how, like,
Oh,
there's so much stuff about swallowing, and it makes me feel bad that I should swallow. Like, that I should, like, be swallowing all the time. And I'm not against swallowing. I'm not against it.
oh,
But I'm like, if I mean, I guess I just don't wanna be shamed into swallowing.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's what it
You do you. Like, that's how it
Yeah.
should be. Like, yeah, because 'cause I've always been like, "I'm gonna swallow that shit." Like, there's
Mhm.
like but, it's because I'm like, "It's already all the way back there in my throat."
Yeah,
Like,
like, what's the point? It does get messy when you
yeah,
s and it's
yeah, and then
reject
I'm like right, and I'm like, and it's messy and like, meh, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
and what are you gonna do? You know what would be funny though?
What?
If like, you know how like guys like to like come on your face or whatever? If you like spit on your face. Hey,
Why not? Yeah, I
exactly.
think, like, I don't care what anybody does and everything, like, I'm happy what everybody does, but I do think that there's certain things that there's kind of
Yeah,
like,
like
kind of, you should be doing
expectations.
certain things. Like, I was reading an article that, like, anal is the new blowjob in porn in a way. Like, blowjobs were, like, back in the day, right? Back in the
That was
day,
a big thing,
that was
yeah.
a big thing, right? It was like, "Oh my god, the blowjob." And, like, even
Mhm.
in romance novels, like, the blowjob was
Yeah,
historically, like,
yeah,
that was, like, a big thing. And now anal's the new blowjob. And so it's
yeah,
like it's interesting to see what kind of comes in and out of fashion of what you should and should not be doing.
yeah, and it's always what the girls should and should not be doing.
Yeah. Although I do think that there's some shame into guys not going down on you. I think that's
Oh,
like gone into that's new. That's new, like relatively, right?
I feel like the girls would be expected to do a blowjob, but then there'd be no.
No turnaround.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
And especially, like, I remember talking about this in college with some girlfriends. Some people, like me, I'm one of them, are more sensitive on the outside than the inside. And
Hmm.
so you prefer to have the external stimulation.
Hmm.
And part of it was my endometriosis. Like that affected it a lot because I was like, this is not great for me.
Yeah.
And now that I've had hysterectomy and an oophorectomy, which is the funniest word ever, and
What is it?
that's my ovaries.
Oh.
So, like, I have literally no parts and it feels a lot better. I still am more externally stimulated than internally.
That's
And some people are more like you, like need the penetration, you know? I mean, obviously, I like penetration, duh. But yeah, I think it's interesting because I don't know, like, wouldn't you want your partner to be as ready to go as possible?
yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
I think if you're not curious about the
mm,
person you're with, then like what's
mhm.
the point?
Yeah,
Like that's the cool thing about being with new people is finding out
yeah.
thing is, and it could be
What
anything,
and
you know?
what it is for them. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's the thing is, if you're really into that person, you're like, "Oh, even if this isn't my favorite thing, this is the thing that they really like, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna."
I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it. Yeah, that's
Mm,
cool. And then that is more exciting for you because you know they're really getting off on it.
right.
You know,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
then it makes it more interesting.
Mhm. It makes such a difference if you're, like, into it and wanna do it than, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is something I have to do." You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, and that's why the sounds are good because they tell you what's going on, right?
Mhm.
Like if they're quiet, you don't know what is
Yes.
working and what's not. Like, and it's like
Yep.
you want to know, like, do you like what I am doing? I Give me a
Mhm.
sign, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
and, like, I'm always super vocal,
mm,
but I just need to know, are you enjoying yourself?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, "Well, I don't know because you're fucking quiet."
yeah, 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 totally.
Would you rather have great sex that lasts 30 seconds or boring sex that lasts an hour?
Oh God, boring sex for an hour. That sounds horrible.
That sounds very tedious.
Yeah,
I would totally do the 30 seconds of great sex. Like, it's great, so you're sad that it's done, but you can also do it again.
yeah, no,
Like,
totally.
if you have to sit there for an hour and you're bored.
No. Like, I have things to do. You know?
And I've been that where it was, like, not fulfilling, and I'm like, "Oh my god." Even 2 minutes seems to be forever. Let's do 2 more.
Okay.
What is the most embarrassing thing you have done whilst drunk or under the influence of something?
I'm embarrassed after because it was really dumb and it could have turned into a terrible situation, but happily it didn't. I was like got really hammered at my friend's house and she was had I'm gonna say like a half an hour walk from my apartment in Toronto. And I
Mhm,
got really hammered and Toronto's fairly safe. Okay, but I walked home at 2 o'clock in the morning from her house to my house. Now that in itself is probably not great, right?
mhm.
Really drunk girl doing that at 2 in the morning. I got it in my head that I really just didn't wear any clothes at all. And I ripped down. I left my shoes on. I left my shoes on.
Oh, of course, because you gotta protect your feet.
You gotta protect it. And I rolled it into my thing, and I walked the rest of the home, and as far as I know, I was, like, hiding in bushes a little bit, giggling. I thought it was hilarious. Thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever done.
That's
And
amazing.
I got home and I was fine, but, like, when I think about that, I'm like, "What the fuck
Like, that's terrifying.
were you
Yeah.
what were you doing? What were you thinking?" Like, this 21-year-old girl.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's like, well, there's so many things, especially, like, I think about things I did when I was, like, in high school or whatever, and I'm like, "What? How did I not?" die. I feel like I have a hard time, like, coming up with stuff unless someone brings it up, and then I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,"
yeah,
and then,
yeah.
you know but I do remember one thing that tends to get brought up a lot because it was just from last summer, and it was like, I'm kinda weird with gummies too. There's only one brand and one varietal of that brand that work for me.
Oh,
Everything else, I'm just like, I feel nothing.
oh.
And usually it's like, I'm like, "Oh, this is what people talk about when they talk about being high," and then, like, 10 minutes later, it's gone.
Ah,
But every once in a while, I don't know if it's, like, I haven't eaten enough, I had enough, like, extra beverages, whatever, it will, like, hit me.
mm,
So, we were at Sinners and Stardust in Boston last year,
mm,
and we had a pajama party,
mhm,
and we're like, "Let's do gummies before the pajama party."
mhm,
And it hit me, and I was with Brandon and then our friend Terry, and they were, doing whatever, and I was like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom."
mhm.
I walked into that bathroom, and I was like, "Did did I make it into the bathroom?" Like, to me, it was just like a hall of doors, and I was like, "Noth
Right.
there's no bathroom in here." I had to go out and look, and I was like, "Yes, I'm in the bathroom,"
Mhm,
and I went back in. I could not figure out how to get the doors open.
mhm,
Like,
mm.
I was like, Uh, and I kept, like, trying to push on him, nothing happened, and I went out and I was like, "You need to help me, I can't figure out." And then, like, Brittany and Terry came in there, and I was like, "You guys,
Yeah,
these doors don't do anything," and then Brandon just walked up to one and, like, pushed it, and it opened,
like
and I
that.
was like,
Yeah,
"I
yeah.
swear I did that." And she's like, "Yeah."
Okay, so talk about
Oh,
remind like, when I was in my 20s, I was meeting friends at some sort of bar event, I can't remember what it was, and for whatever reason, I was just feeling really, like, manic, so I was, like, smoking, like, cigarette after cigarette.
mhm,
I pre-gamed a little bit in my, apartment, walked there.
mhm,
The second I was there, shot, someone gave me a joint, I, like, hauled on it, and I went
mhm.
blind. I went blind. And I was sitting there at the table and everybody was talking to me. And I'm like, okay, so I don't want everybody to freak out right now, but see anything. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm blind. I can't see anything. And they're like, I can hear the guys like around me going, oh, oh, okay. Uh, why don't I'll get you some water? Because what do? You just get people water. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. Can someone sit with me so I don't freak out?
Right, yeah, like, so I don't have a panic attack, like.
Yeah. And I was like blind for about 5 minutes and then it came back. And I was like, oh, phew. Okay, let's dance.
Okay, we're gonna do one more.
Okay.
What is I have my answer for this.
Okay.
What is the worst date you have been on?
I mean, it's not a great answer. It's like a high school kind of thing where yeah, it's like I was in high school. They took me to see Dances with Wolves.
Amazing.
Which I'm not a particular fan of to begin with. I'm very snooty about my, like, film watching, but he was so boring, and he kept, like, rubbing my hand to the point where I thought, like, the skin was gonna come off,
Ugh.
but he didn't say anything because you don't do anything, and then, like,
Yeah.
he took me out for hors d'oeuvres, and there was, like, no conversation, and it was just, like, it's not a great story, but that I
Yeah.
think that it was just the poor like, yeah, it was terrible. Do you have one? I wanna hear
So
yours.
I do have one. For the most part, like generally, most of my official dates weren't terrible.
Mhm.
And then I started with the online dating.
Right.
So I had talked to him for quite a while, pretty extensively. We had talked on the phone, like everything was it was great, right?
Mm.
So we're like, "Hey, let's finally meet up." And he was like, "I'll come to your place," which I don't like to let people know where I live, but
Weird.
he was coming here and then we were going to go somewhere else. I don't remember why, but I had done all my, like, research on him and whatever, and I was like, "Okay." So he came here, met me here. Oh, and then also the day before, somebody had used my bank card for, like, fraud or had
Oh,
done something. stole it. So I told him that morning that he was supposed to come here. I was like, hey, my card is locked out. Like, I have no access to my money right now. And he's like, okay. I was like, just a heads up. Like, I have $0, literally, And he's like, that's fine. We'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. So he gets here. We're hanging out. He seems all right. And then it was like 15 minutes after he got here, there was a crazy thunderstorm. The power went out. There was a tornado warning. We had to go into my like under the stairs storage area. And I was like, this dude has been here for 15 minutes and we're sitting here with no power and like my cat and a little lake. Yeah. So, that happened.
Mhm.
And then the warning passed. So we vacated under the stairs, whatever.
Mm.
So then we still didn't have power, but we were supposed to eat dinner. And so I was like, what do you want to do? I can't make anything here.
Mhm.
Like go out, whatever. And he was like, oh, we can just DoorDash or something. And it's like $15 for a, entree, whatever.
Right.
And he's like, oh, $15. He's like, I'm not paying for you. Yeah.
No.
I also was like, I told you I do not have access to my money right now.
Right.
And he also was like, it's $15. I'm not going to pay $15. So I had to use my neighbor's credit card to buy my food. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah.
$15?
And then I was like, yeah, it was not expensive. And I was like, what the hell? And then, so food showed up. And then that's when he's like, I always pray before my meals. And I was like, what? And yeah, it was so weird. And then power had come back on. So he's like, let's watch a movie. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God. Were you like, I'm out? Like, can you go?
yeah. And then like, I was like, let's watch like Bill and Ted. I love Bill and Ted, like all the Bill and Ted movies. And he's like, I haven't seen the third one. And I was like, okay. And because the power had just come on and the internet was kind of weird, it was taking a while to like load up because I like own the digital version.
Mhm.
And he's like, well, I can just like rent it or buy it or whatever. And like in my head, I'm like, this movie you have no interest in seeing. You're going to buy it so we can watch it, but you wouldn't buy me fucking tacos?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And then he kept trying to like cuddle and stuff. And I was like, no,
I don't
no.
I don't understand the thought process. Like what?
I don't either. It was so weird. And then like he even said something about like, oh, well, do you want me to spend the night or should I go? And I was like, you should definitely go.
Oh
Like,
my God. And did he contact you after?
well, he texted me on the way home.
Mm.
Like, he's like, I feel like you don't like me very much. And I was already over at my neighbor's because like we're friends. She was like, as soon as he leaves, come over and talk to me about it, So I was over there. And he's like, I feel like you don't like me very much. And I was like, yeah, what gave you that idea? Like, what? But at the same time, I was like, I'm not going to ghost this person. So I was like, it just wasn't like I wasn't feeling it in real life. Like, had a good time talking to you, wish you all the best.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a fucking adult. And he did actually say, like, he sent me a message when he got home. He was like, let you know I'm home safe. And I'm like, cool, thanks. Thanks for letting me know that you're home safe.
Mm.
And that's it. Like, obviously, I didn't talk to him after that, but I was like, what the? Like, I could not understand any of what was going on in his mind.
Yeah, yeah.
All of
That
it.
is just crazy, crazy dumb.
Yeah.
Crazy dumb.
Like, anyway, okay. This was such a, like, I knew, like, when we were emailing, I was like, we're going to have a great time.
Yeah, this was a
And
great time. I had an awesome time. Thank you.
thank you so much. And I think with Brandon too, it'll be even more fun. So we'd love to have you back on. So yeah, when you have your next book ready to come out, just let us know and we'll see what we can do to get you back on because
That would be awesome.
you're so fun.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I had a great time. It was
Great
really
time
fun
too.
to talk about all the things. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Mhm.
All right. All right.
Yep.
I'll see
Okay.
you.
Talk to you later. Okay. Bye.